Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NILIST podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about alcoholism. I have my friend over here, Brian,
Hey, what's up?
and yeah, I'm just going to be asking him a bunch of questions about alcoholism because he is an avid alcoholic. He's joined the club probably like around 3 years ago, so
Oh, yeah.
sometime around there. So yeah, I'm just going to be asking him a bunch of questions about alcoholism and kind of our his point of view on it. And yeah, guys, follow along and ask questions in the comments below if you want to hear anything else that you want us to talk about. And yeah, let's just get started to it. So, Brian, what would your I guess what would your definition of alcoholic be?
Alcoholic? Oh, my personal
Yeah,
definition?
yeah,
Um, I think that's pretty interesting because sometimes I like to see it as almost like a point system or like a D&D point system. Like there's a lot of things that add to it. I know that like obviously there's an official definition, but the way I see it, it's like one of the points that could add is drinking at least every other day. Second would also be feeling like you need to drink like at least every other day or every day.
when it comes to the idea of drinking every other day, on are you talking like a shot? Are you like a shot of alcohol or a cup, an 8 ounces of alcohol, or are you talking like an entire bottle's worth? Like, what can you give me a range of how much you drink
Oh, like
every other day?
I mean, I'll just tell you what I was going through. Like, I mean, it's gonna be what I was going through. Like, I'd say, well, a week ago. So because it hasn't been that long since I kind of like slowed down. But I was basically at least drinking every day.
I see.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
gone through cycles, and I'll go into that a little bit later. But
got it.
essentially, what it was that I was drinking every day, and it wasn't it wasn't exactly like very minimal at all either, because it would either be like me drinking at least a 6 pack of beer, or I'd say at least two to three glasses of like some type of hard liquor.
Got it.
And that was just the work week. I haven't even started on Friday, because once Friday hits is when I'll kind of just drink a whole bottle.
Okay. And
uh,
what would be your alcohol of choice?
it depends, it varies. Sometimes if I'm getting like a little bit of heartburn, like I don't want to drink anything that's like super acidic or citrusy, so I'll probably drink something like vodka.
Got it.
Yeah. I'd say also whiskey could also. I mean, I get heartburn from drinking too much whiskey.
I see. I see.
Yeah, but either whiskey, tequila, vodka,
So pretty much hard alcohol, you're saying?
yeah, gin.
Gin. Got it. So
Yeah,
given the idea of like why would you feel the need to drink every other day?
um, I'd say. Well, it was every day then, so it
Oh,
was.
every day.
Yeah,
Yeah, for in your case, every day. So and for like yeah, for that point of view, like why would you feel the need to drink every day and more on the weekends specifically?
I think it was more of like the obsession of like the feeling or chasing after like that good feeling, because it makes you feel like like good, right? Like it kind of numbs you a bit, and it kind of almost makes you like somewhat like temporarily happy, especially like you're listening to music or something like that. But it's not like, I don't know. I came to realize that it's not exactly true happiness. It's kind of just artificial. I mean, obviously it's artificial, but that was pretty much it. Because like just with like things that are going on at work or just my personal life, feeling like I don't really have control over things, feeling like I have a lot of people, like, well, with work, right? I have a lot of people that I kind of just don't get along with. I don't want to see them every day, but I see them every day anyways. It's like I'm in a work environment where like I can't exactly like really avoid them. So yeah, and just anxiety too, and like
So all in all, you'd pretty much use alcohol as like some form of escape.
pretty much yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
With the so besides like work and everything like that, was there anything that made you want to drink more or feel the need to drink more?
Um, as funny as this sounds, like not really. No, it was kind of just all work.
All work. Got
Yeah.
it. Got it. So, are you still currently an alcoholic, or would you still deem yourself an alcoholic, or would you consider yourself a lot more mellowed out than
I
the
mean,
course?
I'd say a lot more mellowed out than a week ago, but I don't want to say that I'm like good just yet. I mean, it's only been a week. You know what I mean? Like I've done this before. This is my first time trying to mellow out. This is like I'd say like what like the the fifth time of this year. That I've
Relapsing.
pretty much yeah. And it's not
Yeah.
like me quitting.
So,
It's like more like me just like I am only gonna drink once a week or 2 or 3 times a week.
got
But
it. Got
it's
it.
not that much better. But it's like trying to like essentially like get away from that whole aspect.
So you got your job around 3 years ago and a few months, right?
Yeah, like I been doing it for 3 years and 4 months now.
Got it. Yeah. So, given in that specific timeline of 3 years and 4 months, where would you see the trajectory of your alcoholism? Like, did you have alcoholism right as soon as you walked through the gates, or was it progressive, or did it go through different waves?
Um, no, like okay, so when I first initially entered into my job, it wasn't that bad, right? I would only drink only on the weekends. I wouldn't even drink like I mean, it was still a lot, I'd say, for like your average. Because I was like 18 at the time, right?
Got it.
Yeah, like I would drink like basically a whole bottle, but it would be throughout the course of like the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot, but like it's not a lot compared to what I do now. It's like it wasn't that bad, and sometimes there would be weeks where I didn't even drink. You know,
Got it.
I think where it really got bad was once I turned. Honestly, I'd say once I turned 20, 21, and that was also kind of like the turning point during my career because I really started like it kind of started going downhill. Because when I first started off in the job, it wasn't so bad, right? And
Yeah.
stuff kind of just happened, and things in my life just made the job a little more hard to bear. It was just the toxic community, very toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was also kind of like missing home too, because I still do miss home, and it's like I miss interacting with a lot of people because a lot of the people here, like I feel like there's very few people I have like actual interactions with, where I feel like an actual connection with, and it's like
Yeah.
yeah,
So, yeah. So talking more about, I guess your spike within alcoholism or drinking alcohol, where would you say you became self-aware of your alcoholism, or did you always play it off as like it wasn't alcoholism, it was more as just you just like to drink, or did you always knew that you were destined to just eventually become alcoholic?
Oh, okay. That's oh, this is gonna take a while to talk about. Well,
It's okay. We got time.
oh yeah, we got all the time.
And if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool too.
Oh no, I can talk about it, but I think it all kind of really started like of me like thinking about it once when I back in high school, right?
So you got it. So you're like around 17.
Yeah, I started. I had my first drink. Oh no, I had my first drink when I was 14.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 14, and I had like a sip of like tequila or whatever, like at a party, and I was like, at the time, I was like, oh, this isn't too bad, right? And then
yeah,
that was like the first time I actually like drank like a full shot, like right, actually drank. The first time I actually the first time I actually had alcohol when I was like 8 years old at a kid's party, or not a kid's party. It was like some person's quinceañera, and you know, all the all the tios or whatever were drinking, and I went to a solo cup, and I was thinking at 8 years old, I didn't know that like I wasn't thinking like, oh, the solo cup probably has alcohol in it, right? I take a big gulp, like a big gulp, and oh my god, like that was terrible. I gagged and everything, like because you know, like when you take a gulp of something, like you'll just chug it all, it just goes down your throat, and it just I tried to spit it out, but it was like, yeah, it was gross. I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna drink alcohol, and you know, here I am now. But
got it.
Yeah, and I think once, because I started working with my dad a lot, right, when I was like 18. Or no, I started working with my dad once I hit 15, where I'd help him like go basically do yard work or whatever, because my dad like mows lawns and shit.
Yeah.
And yeah,
little landscape.
Yeah, landscaping. And I mean, he offered it to me a couple times, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll take it." And at first, like, I kind of just did it recreationally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't that bad. Like back then, I used to be able to get a really good buzz just drinking, like, you know, those small bottles of like Fireball.
Yeah.
Like you could get at the liquor store. Yeah, I would drink that, and basically just be working while kind of tipsy.
Yeah. Okay. So that started like 15, 16?
Yeah.
Got it. So given that like time frame from that time to when you got your new job and the 3 years and 4 months, like that's when you say like it was more like a recreational kind of drinking where it wasn't like you wouldn't consider it alcoholism, you would more consider it like a buzz of enjoyment, kind of like a day-to-day thing, or like every other time you could get your hands on it, essentially.
Pretty much. I think the only thing that was pretty much limiting me was the fact that I couldn't get it myself. Like I had to rely on other people to get it for me, you know?
Got it.
I
So
think
that's when you were...
Yeah.
So that's why the shift when you became 21, it became a lot more, I guess, concentrated in what you cannot get. It didn't necessarily become a task anymore for you to get alcohol, so that's when it started to become a lot more frequent within your habits, right?
Oh, well, yeah, it became routine, basically.
Got it.
Yeah.
And
But here's the thing, though. Here's the kicker. Even when I did turn 21, it still wasn't that bad. Like,
yeah, I was about to get to that. So,
oh, sorry, what?
like, yeah, no, I was about to ask, like, from the time you were 18 up until, 21 up until now, which has been like what, a year or so, more than a year.
Yeah,
now at this
just
point,
a little over a year now, like a year and 2 months.
More than a year now. So what's like the trajectory look like for your alcoholism within that point? Was it like did it come in waves? Were you 100% self-aware, or
I didn't become self. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're saying.
I didn't become self-aware till like, let's say, 8 months ago.
8 months ago. And what was that like? What were you doing when you realized it,
Uh,
or
well,
what caused that realization, per se?
I flooded my room.
Oh, okay. I think I remember the story.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
like legit flooded my room because I pushed over the faucet to the side and the water kept running and I guess I kind of just passed out on my bed.
Yeah. And then you woke up the next morning with your room flooded.
Oh no! I woke up the next morning people telling me that I'm a fucking idiot and that I flooded my
Oh,
room because luckily I had people that stopped the faucet and they mopped my room for me and they made sure that I wasn't gonna suffocate on my bed. Yeah.
so
For as
was
many
that?
for I'm sorry, what?
No, you're saying?
Oh, for as many people as I hate in my work environment, I do have a lot of people that actually are good dudes, right? I have a good circle of friends that I know that got my back. It's just the majority of the people in the work environment are not so great.
So I find that pretty interesting because you talk about good people and then bad people, but would you consider bad people a trigger for you drinking?
What I consider bad people a trigger for my drinking?
Yeah, like so you talk about like there's people that you don't like and those people kind of get under your skin, I would assume.
Yes.
And you mentioned earlier on that being in that type of environment pushed you to drink even more to kind of work as an escape, right?
Yeah,
So
essentially.
would you consider like those people that are not necessarily good in your realm of work a trigger for your drinking?
That aren't exactly considered good. I'm sorry, I kind of blanked out there.
Yeah, no, like the people that you talk about that kind of get under your skin and aggravate you,
Yes.
given the circumstances of your work, right? Would you consider those people like somewhat of a trigger for your drinking?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
And you talk about people that are decent to you, or like that are you do consider friends. But I find this really interesting because would you consider those people perpetrators of continuing your alcoholism since they're very trustworthy and you could trust drinking around them? Would that be somewhat of a path to go down as well? Where
It's funny that you. It's funny that you bring that up because, yes, I would definitely say that they are also part of the problem as well. Because
got it,
I didn't start realizing that till like I'd say a month ago. When I started
yeah,
realizing like, oh well, the people that I drink with are also ignitions as well to me
yeah,
drinking too much.
exactly. Because would you consider them alcoholics as well, or not as much as you?
Mm, I'd say not as much as me because I mean I don't. Oh, there's certain people that I drink with on the weekends that they don't drink that much. They don't drink every day too. So I consider those people
Got
not
it.
exactly ignitions. There are certain people, certain friends that I do have that I'm not really gonna get in specific who they are that
No,
are because
no,
that's not necessary. I'm just saying that yes, there are people that I would consider basically igniters to me drinking more than I should be drinking, and they haven't really done anything to help me out.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, just as like a disclaimer, like that's not they're not. I wouldn't say they're bad people by any means by
No,
drinking
they're
with you,
not.
or
They're not bad people at all. It's just the way. But alcoholics will support other alcoholics. That's how it works.
yeah.
It's not
I
exactly. It's
think
not like they're trying to do. They're not trying to do harm on me. That's not what it is. It's none of their actions are malicious in nature. It's the fact that like because it's not malicious in nature, it's very hard to distinguish when a friend is actually causing harm to you, more harm to your personal life than good. And it's kind of rough because it can be really hard to come to terms with that when it's someone that you like care about and you've been hanging out with a lot. But you also realize that like wow, like as much as I think this person's a good person, they have helped me in the past before. Because I won't say that they haven't helped me at all, because they have. But at the same time, that
Yeah.
person could also cause problems as well. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So that I think that's very interesting because I knew we talked about this the other day, and I think it was more along the lines of like how people will support other people because they feel bad about themselves, essentially, in
Yes.
terms of like
Oh yeah.
how, for your case, like alcoholism, like other people will support you drinking alcohol because they also want to drink alcohol, but they don't want to feel bad. Is that something you find quite often within your atmosphere or your
Oh yeah. Certain
workspace?
friends. Oh yeah. Certain friends. Oh yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't just end in alcohol. It ends with other, I'd say, sins as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a whole other topic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what you would call it? So, given the idea of from your, like we were saying, from your the time turned 21 and up until now, like which is like been like a year and a half or so.
Hmm.
Where would you find your trajectory there? Like, do you find yourself often trying to repair your alcoholism, or are you proud of it?
Oh no, I've never been proud of it. But I'm also the type of person that like is very transparent when it comes to my weaknesses. Like I'm not gonna go around telling people that I'm not an alcoholic. Like yeah, I'll tell people that I am an alcoholic. And I mean, it's
Got it.
funny because some people think it's cool or whatever. I don't know why they think it's cool. I don't think it's cool because like honestly, sometimes I just feel like a piece of shit because I'll like end up drinking all night and just waste hours of my life when I could just be like working on something productive, like drawing. Because especially like that's another rough thing as well. Like I haven't really been exactly productive when it comes to my art because of alcohol. You know,
Got it.
and like yeah, I guess like by nature, most a lot of artists have been known to be very like addictive when it comes to stimuluses. But at the same time, those artists aren't exactly fully addicted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand
I
what
don't
you're
think
saying.
there's. Here's the thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with alcohol. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop drinking alcohol. I just think that I'm in a state in my life where I drink way too much, and there's no sense of discipline or restraint from it that I should be having. And
Which leads us on to something that I want to touch upon is the alcohol itself. Would you view alcohol as something bad or something good overall? And I know that could be a very
oh,
left and right argument, right?
oh yeah,
But
dude.
where would you put alcohol on the idea of good and evil?
I'd say that if done correctly and if used in moderation, and you don't gorge yourself with it, I think alcohol could be a really good way to come up with ideas and kind of loosen up a bit. And but like I said, I think it's once you pass the threshold to where you get absolutely drunk to where you can't really think at all. Basically, it's like at that point it's pretty much useless because all you're doing is just kind of turning yourself into a mindless, idiotic, like zombie that just rambles on about things but has no correlating issue or has no
Got it.
correlating focal point. You know, I think I think there's with moderation, alcohol could be a really good thing when it comes to trying to just
What
loosen
good
up.
so you saying in moderation, what kind of good things could come from alcohol in your opinion?
I'd say just being able to relax a little bit on a Friday night or something and just maybe work on something. I mean, you don't have to drink there's no reason to drink a whole bottle. There's no reason to even drink a whole cup or whatever. But like, if you just pour yourself a little bit of like something, just so you can kind of relax a little bit,
Got it.
and just
There,
I'm sorry. What?
there are some people that would say that doing that, you're building up some type of reliance on alcohol in order to just relax. What would you say to those people that say that you don't need alcohol at all in order to relax, and that it's bad for you to doing it to relax?
I'd say, I mean, that's their opinion, and honestly, I think that yes, it makes sense, but I also do think that as long as it's done with moderation, it's not necessarily a bad thing, you know. But do I?
Got it.
But do I agree that like if some, I'm not saying like what I'm trying to say is that I'm not telling everyone like, oh no, you need to drink at least a glass of whiskey on a Friday night to finish up your ideas for the week and be a good artist. No, like I'm not telling every artist out there like, oh yeah, no, you need to drink alcohol to be a good artist. Like that's not what I'm trying to say here. But
So,
I'm just saying that like with moderation, like there's nothing wrong with it. I'd say.
more for the idea of enjoyment, and I guess a little bit of
Well, yeah,
for the
because
just for the sake of enjoyment.
yeah, exactly. It should be a supplement. It should not be the highlight of your night, nor should it be the main event.
Okay,
Like,
that's a really interesting way to look at it. I 100% agree with you.
so, yeah, because and if someone doesn't want to drink alcohol, that's perfectly fine. Like, I'm not saying that people should drink alcohol. I'm just saying
Yeah.
if you enjoy alcohol and if you're struggling, if you enjoy alcohol way too much, and if you're struggling with alcoholism, but you still think that you want to, and who knows, maybe someday I'll be able to never drink alcohol ever again. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
But for now, like, I'm just thinking in terms of realism, you know what I mean? Because I think a lot of alcoholics just jump straight into it and then they relapse. That's how people relapse. That's how I kept relapsing, you know what I mean? And
Got it.
I mean, so I slowed down my whole drinking, right? I didn't quit alcohol. I just have not been drinking every day, right? And I've felt so much better at work, right? Like I feel like I have a little bit more energy at work. I feel like I don't feel like shit every day. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I feel I've actually like lost 4 pounds in the past week.
Just from dropping alcohol.
Oh yeah, just or not even just not dropping alcohol, but just moderation because I'm not gorging myself with food. I don't know how other if there are any alcoholics listening to this, but like I don't personally when I drink a lot of alcohol, I feel like I need to gorge myself with food. Like I get. Really
Oh yeah, I'm
hungry.
pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people go through like the idea of drinking a lot of alcohol, and then
Oh yeah.
fattier foods become a lot more. And also, like I've gotten wasted on my ass, and the next morning I try to get up and go for a run. And I'm a small guy, I'm not that big, but when I went for the run the next day, I just felt like complete ass.
Oh
So I
yeah.
could imagine it would also limit your ability to exercise and stuff too, right?
Oh yeah. No, I'm like. Oh yeah, I definitely like, and especially like for me, like I'm a bit more of like a huskier guy,
Yeah,
so like it's a little bit more difficult for me to like, yeah, like especially
yeah,
like yeah, like I'm pretty like good when it comes to like weight training. Like I like to lift weights a lot, but like it definitely alcohol has really affected my cardio because I used to be really good with cardio, but now I'm kind of just I'm only good when it comes to like lifting weights, and that's pretty much it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not exactly happy with that. I used to be like a pretty well-rounded person when it came to fitness. Like I could lift weights, I could lift pretty heavy weights, I could do some pretty good long distance running. Nothing like crazy, but I was able to like do like 6 to 8 miles just fine. But now it's like I struggle just running 4 miles. I mean, I just recently was able to run 5 miles this week without too much trouble, you know?
got it. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
and
Yeah.
So we talked about some of like the good that could come from it, or like some of the in moderation it can be good, and we also mentioned that there's a lot of bads to it, obviously, right? So what would you consider some of the worst things that happened to you because of it?
Oof. Gaining weight, that's for sure. Like I used to be when I first came into the. That's the word. When I first came into my job, I was seven. I'd say I was 70 pounds. I
170.
yeah, 170. Or sorry, not 70 pounds. 170. So I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean 170. It's still a little bit like on the heavier side, but like I was pretty like toned out. You know what I mean?
you're around 5'6", five something.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, so 170, 5'6", around there. Got it.
yeah. I mean, it's still a pretty heavy weight for a 5'6" person, but like I was also like pretty well built.
Yeah,
But now I'm 190.
got it.
And
Got it.
I don't know about you, but I don't think a 5'6" person should be 190 unless they're built like the Hulk or something.
Oh
And
yeah,
I am
I
not.
mean definitely.
I'm not exactly built like the Hulk. Like I do have a pretty good amount of muscle on me, but like my abs are not exactly there. I mean, they're there only when I flex, but even when I flex, it's still not exactly noticeable.
So you're definitely feeling the effects of being a little bit overweight.
Oh yeah, like I'm not like obese or anything, but I don't like the way I look. Like I know for a fact I'm a pretty like I'd say like I'm pretty fit for a somewhat overweight person. Like I can run like now I can basically run 5 miles like just fine. I know most people can't even run like a mile, but I don't like to really exactly compare myself like that because I'm a firm believer that everybody should be able to at least run like 3 or 4 miles like pretty well. You know, it's like
Yeah, you were in cross country too back in high school as well, so
yeah,
that puts a kind of it puts more of a scope
it does
instead of comparing
because
yourself to other people.
oh yeah, it does because it makes me feel even more like shit. Because I'm like, wow, I used to be a lot more healthier back then. I could actually, I didn't even have to flex in the mirror to see my abs or see my definition. I was kind of just, I looked a lot better than what I do now. Now I'm kind of just, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, like, what happened?
Got it. So other than gaining weight, would you consider anything else that affected you? Are some of the worst things that have happened because of alcoholism in your terms?
Depression, I'd say, because it's funny because most people drink to help with their depression, but alcohol actually just enhances depression. Yes, it relieves depression for a temporary amount of time. And I mean, there's some people in my work environment that like live right across from me that like they are literally drunk like at least they're only sober like I'll give you this basically. They're only sober for 4 hours out of the day every day. They are drunk for at least they're either tipsy or drunk for 20 hours of the day basically.
Got it.
The only time they're really sober is like when they go to sleep, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I'm sorry, I kind of went on a tangent. What was it that you asked me exactly?
oh no, I was just saying some of the worst things that have happened to you because of alcoholism. And you said depression.
Oh
And
yeah,
I 100% agree.
depression. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was one. Because
Why? Yeah, why do you think that amplified, or I mean, maybe depression was already there. We don't know, but why do you think it amplified it? Or yeah, okay, so, and I'm assuming that's from your job, most likely.
my job and other things, like as silly as this sounds, it's also like the feeling of inadequacy of like what feeling of inadequacy of like how especially like when I left for my job because I used to live in California, now I'm in North Carolina, and it feels like I kind of got left behind by the rest of the world basically essentially.
Got it.
and like kind of people just forgot about me. So that kind of just it didn't exactly feel good. But I'm basically in a state now where it's like I don't really care, and I realize that like wow, like you know what? Why should I care about whether other people miss me? You know what I mean?
Which I get you.
Yeah.
But with the combination of alcohol, do you think that is healthy to consider that, or do you think that is your alcohol is helping you cope with that, and now that you feel that way, you feel good about it now because you've had alcohol to get your back on that situation?
Um. No, I don't think it's exactly the alcohol that's making me feel that way. I think it's more of like a psychological thing, and just
Yeah.
and the whole comic that we got and our future plans of eventually getting into more art projects. I realize why should I care about dozens of other people that don't exactly like, and this might sound a bit narcissistic and a bit what's the word, a bit of a sociopathic
Asshole. Asshole
sociopathic or asshole comment, but why should I care about people that aren't going to help me in advancing my goals? You know what I mean?
Got it.
And I don't even think I should feel like an asshole, because if you think about it, that's just human nature. We all subconsciously only care about the people that help advance us in our goals, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just how humans have been thinking for hundreds of years. It's just human nature. And if you think about
I
it,
agree.
the very definition of what it is to be an asshole or evil, I guess per se, is kind of all subjective. It's all it all can be defined a certain way. You know what I mean? It's all hypothetical.
It's all subjective. There's no one way to put it,
Yes.
one way or another. So you're saying like you coping with that idea of being away from home and that the world kind of forgot about you is just, I guess, in a simple way, saying maturing and just coping with a more mature mindset, a way of thinking of like, well, what does it matter if people that I've left behind aren't necessarily gonna, meet my goals at the end of the day, or what we have planned in mind for the future, and the people at your work, I would assume that you kind of view them the same way, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
what does it matter?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like what does it matter what they think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Got it. So you're saying that's more of a mental overcoming that obstacle with mentally instead of with alcoholism.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because alcoholism, I'll say this, has not really helped me at all when it comes to my self thought and what I think about myself as a person. Like it really hasn't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So would you say that it would help you temporarily with that type of stuff, or would you say that it just automatically just never works?
I think maybe someday, because at the same time, alcohol also amplifies the emotions you're feeling as well, I'd say. And I feel like if you're drinking alcohol while you're in a really good state in your life, or you feel really good about yourself and you feel like one with yourself, and you don't have any self-anxiety about yourself, and I think alcohol will just amplify your confidence of who you think yourself as a person. But at this stage in my life, like I still have a lot of stuff that I have to work out about myself. Yeah.
I think some people would argue that you would always have stuff to work out on yourself, and that alcohol will always make the shittier things in your life, which you'll always have, even shittier. So,
oh yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Like, what do you think that is just you implying that it will get better and that alcohol will someday be a way for you to enjoy life, or do you think that people are right that there's no way to enjoy alcohol?
It could be and it could also be me subconsciously telling myself that because I'm still struggling with alcoholism. I'm gonna be honest with the audience. I've been sipping on a glass of whiskey this whole time, so. But I'm not gorging myself in alcohol right now. Like I said, I didn't quit alcohol. I'm just trying to drink it in moderation, taking baby steps here, But I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. It could just be me subconsciously telling myself that, oh no, alcohol's still good. I just need to learn how to work around it, you know. But
Which is good because I wanted to bring up how are you coping with trying to fix it, or are you trying to fix it?
I'm coping pretty well. I mean, this week was the first time I actually went to the gym and like worked out like for straight 5 days and didn't just fucking like only work out for the first month Monday and just kind of like, oh well, I'm just gonna drink. Because before it was more like me only working out like 2 or 3 times out of the whole work week and just drinking for the rest of the time, you know.
Yeah,
Like this has been the first week where I actually worked out every day.
got it.
Yeah.
So, for is there any like routines or like kind of goal or mindset that you're trying to get into in order to like patch up those wounds of alcoholism and move towards a healthier life, or are you just trying to let things run its course once again?
Oh no, I'm definitely following a routine. I'm doing a lot more cardio now. Like I'm trying to, like I think I told you how I finally got up to 5 miles this week comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did 5 miles the first time. Like I'm trying to get back into cardio a lot more and weight training.
Got it.
I'm not exactly too. Like here's the thing. I'm not exactly too worried about like weighing myself on the scale just yet because as you lose weight and as you're working out, you gain muscle, so it kind of fluctuates your weight a lot. There's that kind of that weird stage where you'll kind of just stay at a certain amount of weight because it's like your body replacing fat with muscle, and fat takes a while to fucking burn down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on
It's a lot easier
how
to
you
get
do it,
fat
yeah.
than it is to fucking shed fat, you know?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Unless you go full on like I don't know, prisoner mode and you decide to only eat like 400 calories a day. But anyways, yeah, I haven't really exactly been weighing myself too much. I'm not really too worried about that. I'll do it every once in a while, but I'm kind of more worried about like waist size and like overall body fat percentage. And I mean, I've lost basically an inch of fat around my whole waist, so there's some
Nice.
there's progress, you know.
Got it.
Yeah. And that's
So yeah,
that's literally just from cutting back alcohol. Like I haven't even like completely quit drinking. That's just from me like telling myself like, hey, I'm not going to drink every day. Why? I shouldn't be drinking a 6-pack or 2 glasses of hard liquor every day on the workday. You know?
yeah, exactly. So like when I brought up the idea of you trying to patch up or like fix things, you automatically brought up like exercise.
Oh yeah.
Is exercise like a replacement for alcohol? Do you get the
Oh yeah,
same
most definitely. Like
buzz?
I'd say so. Yeah, because like as soon as I come back from like a hard run or like a hard workout, like I feel very accomplished. You know, like I feel very tired. I kind of not really drunk. I wouldn't call it like exactly drunk, but I feel like kind of like more very relaxed.
Got it. So it's somewhat like a high on exercise, I guess.
Oh yeah, especially when you're running too, because I mean, when I did my 5 mile, that's the first time I actually had a runner's high in a while.
Yeah.
And people don't believe that the runner's high is real because no one ever. I don't know, dude. It's really sad because I was talking to this chick or whatever that worked at Hot Topic, and
Yeah.
she was talking about how she kind of was trying to run or whatever. It's like, yeah, no, fuck running because like, you know, runner's high, like that's bullshit. I'm like, well, how far did you run? And she said that she only ran like about a mile, and I'm like, well, it takes a lot more than that to achieve a runner's high. Like the runner's high
Yeah.
happens when you're in a complete state of like where your body is just taking every last inch of like endorphins it has to try to help you keep running. Like
Yeah.
the runner's high isn't achieved until you've suffered for quite a bit, and then your body finally starts pumping in those endorphins to keep you running.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
It's all mental state.
Yeah.
Because what?
For those of you that sorry one second. For those of you that don't know, me and Brian were in cross country for like several years, 4 or 5 years or so, and we've ran countless amount of miles. We ran up to like 13, 14. I ran up to around like 20 miles, and we get this thing called runner's high. It's like once you've hit like at least I'd say like 4 to 5 miles, you kind of lose all the pain in your body and you just feel a very euphoric feeling when you run. A lot of people don't believe it, but you have to experience it to actually feel it. And one of the only ways to experience it is to actually just go out and run for, I'd say, a month on end, and you'll eventually hit that runner's high that we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
It's because it's painful. It's a very painful process. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like, oh no, it doesn't hurt at all. Just don't be a bitch. Like, no, like. And as like weird as this sounds, like I almost kind of cried a bit, like when I kind of hit that runner's high, because it felt so good. Like I felt like, I don't know.
think you're back on it again.
Yeah, exactly.
You're back on track.
Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong, it kind of kicked my ass after that. That was like that was Thursday, and my legs are still kind of like not exactly feeling good right now. But yeah.
But that means it's working though, right?
Oh yeah, like I'm not gonna like shoot myself down. It's like, yeah, that's kind of normal. I haven't exactly been running a lot, so my body's.
It's almost like a hangover.
Oh yeah.
After a long night of drinking, it's kind of like the next day, your body's in pain and you're just feeling like shit. But it's like that's a part of drinking, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, part of working out is feeling that pain afterwards. And
oh yeah, exactly.
I like how you brought that up because I think that's a good replacement.
Oh yeah.
For like drinking alcohol.
Oh yeah, and it feels good because you start seeing the progress, like especially like when it comes to like I noticed, like I said, I brought up my waist. My waist is more smaller now, and like my leg muscles are a bit more defined now after just running for like a week and a half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not like super defined, but like pretty defined from what they were, because yeah, I mean it's always been pretty easy for me to like gain muscle, but like I'm also a person that gains fat very easily as well.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean that's everyone's built differently, and I just think alcohol wouldn't help that out at all.
No, it would not for my body type, because I can't remember exactly. There's like 3 body types, right?
Yeah, it's like mesomorphs or something. There's like, I'm not a genius when it comes to those, but
and plus I don't know how exactly the science behind it. For all I know, like it's probably not exactly accurate. But yeah. I would say that I'm an endomorph, though, someone who gains fat and muscle very easily.
Yeah,
like
I think there's just generalizations to make things a little bit easier on pinpointing people.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, honestly, I think there's some people out there that they kind of just gain fat. That's about it.
Yeah, and not exercising won't help at all. So
yeah, exactly.
But that being said, so you sound pretty happy about exercising. Would you definitely recommend that to people that are also dealing with alcoholism or?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Or dealing with some other type of addiction?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like, I mean, maybe I'm not the type of person to give advice just yet because I'm still struggling with it. But my personal advice would be like, don't fully quit it, because honestly, you're already destined for failure if you decide to fully quit it.
Fully quit?
Yeah, because it's just unrealistic. It's already become so a part of your routine. It's essentially like
you're speaking about the alcohol, correct?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Oh no, when it comes to the exercise, no. Like you're doing that at least every day, or at least 5 days out of the week.
Yeah.
Like your Saturday and Sunday, that's like your grace period where you can enjoy your addiction a little bit, so you don't go completely insane, because especially like for alcoholics, after like having it be a routine for so long, you get so used to it. So when you cut the line, it's essentially like, what can I compare it to? I don't want to compare it exactly to breathing, but it's like something comparable to.
You start to panic a little bit.
Yeah. Or I'll just compare it to something a bit more simple. Like say, like, oh, you're gonna skip breakfast and lunch, and you're only going to eat dinner. That's a very drastic change in your life that you're not going to be able to get used to, you know? And if you like,
Got it.
yeah. And if you do that like from the get-go, yeah, you'll probably be able to survive for like maybe the first 3 days if you have a really good mindset. But after the fourth day, it's like that's when you will start to like really crave something. No matter how much you try, you're gonna eat something by fucking lunchtime, you know?
Yeah, and it'll probably be a lot more intense by the time you get to it.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's why I say baby steps, you know? Like
So
same thing with alcoholism.
yeah, can you run us through the limitations you're putting on yourself?
Well, I'm trying to basically only drink. Trying, like, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with myself and the rest of the audience. I didn't exactly pass my first attempt this week, but it's progress compared to what's happened in the past, you know.
Yeah.
So my goal is to essentially only be drinking Friday and Saturday. Now, I didn't exactly pass that because I did drink on Thursday.
Got it.
But I did not drink Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But I kind of cracked and drank on Thursday. I mean, I didn't drink a lot. I had like, I think I had 3 shots of Kraken.
Okay, I was about to ask you how much.
Yeah, it
How much
wasn't
did you have?
it wasn't a lot, but it was still drinking alcohol. So I am gonna tell myself like, yeah, I kind of failed the first week, you know.
Yeah,
Cheated
I
a
could
little
see
bit,
your.
but it's like I'm not really gonna hold my like. I'm not gonna have that be like, oh well, now I'm gonna quit. Whatever, I'm just gonna keep drinking. Like no, it's like I'm gonna try again. It's like, and who knows? Maybe I'll be drinking at least 3 times out of the week for the next 3 weeks. But like eventually, I'll get there to where I'll only drink 2 times out of the week, and who knows? Maybe I'll eventually get to a point where I only drink once out of the whole week.
Yeah.
You know.
So basically, you're trying to slowly take away from the pile as time goes on.
Oh yeah. Because like, it's like I said, baby steps. Like I'm gonna be honest with myself because when I did try, I actually managed to make it past the whole month, right? But after the month had passed, I kind of just cracked and just started drinking like crazy after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I know you said you're not in any like position to give advice or anything like that, but for people that are wanting to start getting into alcohol, they might be like, I don't know, maybe 18, 19, or around 20, 21, and they're starting to think about drinking, or they might even consider themselves alcoholics before they start drinking. What would you say to them?
That's a tough one. Honestly, if I were them, if I could go back in time and talk to my original 15-year-old self and just say, no, don't drink because it's going to affect you in the future, I would. Like, because as much as I enjoy alcohol, I'm going to be honest with myself, sometimes I really wish that I had never really got into it. I'll say that if you do get into it, be very cautious and be very wary that alcohol, depending on your person, because it's also a personality thing as well, right?
Yeah.
Because other people aren't as addictive as I am to it, right? Other people have better self-control. And unfortunately, like I'm a person that's not exactly very all there yet when it comes to self-control, but all I'd say is that like I would abstain from it honestly if you are a person that's really trying to get into the whole realm of the creative world, or if you're someone who's really trying to get into art, someone who's really trying to get into like playing an instrument or starting a band, doing art or singing or all those things that involve art, I would highly abstain from it a bit because it might hinder your it might hinder your motivation to continue doing it if you get too caught up in alcohol. But who knows? If you think that you're a person that has self-control, then go for it. I'm not going to say don't do it. But if you're someone that has like a very addictive personality, then just, don't.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you're saying, so I would say it's more along the lines of just trying to be self-aware and
Self-aware that
putting
that you need to know that yes, alcohol can become a very addictive substance. Because I'm a very addictive person as well. Like I used to be very addicted to drawing. I would do it every day. Now that addictive personality or addictive tendency got replaced by a liquid.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that's a lot easier to do in your work. Drink.
Yes, because everyone drinks in my work environment. And yeah. And when I feel comfortable though, if the audience is probably wondering what I work in, I'll probably mention it later when I feel a bit more comfortable, but yeah.
Yeah.
I work in a all I'll say is that I work in a culture where drinking is a big part of the culture.
Yeah. That's a whole other realm you could get into, is just your environment and the people you hang out with and the culture you grew up in as well.
Oh yeah. No, culture also plays a big role in addiction as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you feeling good, or are you feeling high hopes, or pretty shitty hopes for the future? And it's a pretty dark question, but how are you feeling at the moment?
I'm feeling pretty hopeful, honestly. Like I think I could do this, and especially like I'm especially like with as self-aware as I've become. Like I know I could do this. Like I don't think it's impossible. Like I just think I have to be realistic and come to terms with myself that I need to not exactly cut certain people out of my life, but limit certain people out of my life and realize that I don't have to listen to them when it comes to drinking alcohol. And that I shouldn't drink every day,
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure having hopes or some type of goal for the future that requires you to stay focused some bit is going to keep you on track, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and like people are probably like punching their keyboards right now, being like, "Why doesn't he just fucking quit his job or whatever?"
Well, yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
If only I could quit my job. Yeah, if anybody starts saying that, it's like, trust me, I wish I could quit my job, but I'm in a job where I can't exactly quit. I'm in a contract at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that should end very soon, though, hopefully. And
hopefully, if a war doesn't start.
But yeah, I
people.
mean, but we do have high hopes for the future for the both of us, and I mean, I think having that in the back of your mind will also help you out, just kind of figure things out and kind of motivate you to stay on track and not get so engrossed with an alcohol.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, is there any last things you'd like to say before we end this little conversation on alcohol?
No, I
or
think
alcoholism.
I think I'm good. I mean, I think we kind of discussed everything that could be discussed. I mean, yeah. There's a whole bunch of other subtopics that could come from this we could discuss, but I'm pretty sure everyone in the audience is sick and tired of me rambling, so...
Yeah. Well, there we go. So, yeah, that was my friend Brian here, and just a little discussion about alcoholism. If there's anything, or if there's any questions that you had about the podcast, I mean, or just what we've talked about here, just make sure to put them in the comments below. We'll love to see them and answer them. And maybe if you have any stories that you'd want to share below, or any crazy stories that you've had when it came to drinking alcohol, or any other addiction that you've had and you just want to get it off your chest, be free to leave it in the comments below. That'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, if there's anything you want to hear about, Oh yeah. So what's that?
Oh no, so oh yeah, definitely. And I definitely be willing if you guys want, we could even like in the future you could send in a certain issue you have, and then we could discuss or respond to someone's issue, and then we could just talk about it because I'm willing to talk about it as well because I know how hard it could be. You know, I mean, I've tried quitting for
Yeah.
5 times. It's like. And you don't have to feel bad about it, you know. Like that's the one thing that I learned is that I would always talk bad about myself and feel bad about it, but just know that it's like a chemical substance that's very addictive, and that you don't have to feel bad about it, and it's just it's okay to struggle a little bit.
Yeah. No, no, definitely. And just a little disclaimer: we're no therapists or anything like that. We don't have any medical expertise or anything like that.
Oh
So,
yeah, no.
but yeah. I mean, it's sometimes just good to talk about it and get it off your chest. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So if you guys want to hear anything else or something completely different or some of the projects that we're working on, leave it in the comments below, and we'll be sure to get to you. So yeah, with that, comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.